today's show, we discuss, is a site like Ashley Madison immoral? And should the government ban it?
And now, the TNT Talk Show, daring to go where other podcasts fear to tread.
Hello, I'm Tony Fasulo, and I share the stage with my esteemed friend and colleague, Taya Boya. Taya, hello, my friend, once again. I hope you keep it safe and well. And say hi to our audience.
Yeah, what the hell, Tony? What you gonna do? Eh? Hello, audience. How are you? Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us. And I'd like to say a special hello to someone. Looks like it is the one person
Another one
in
person.
Durban,
Okay.
in KwaZulu Natal, in South Africa.
Okay.
So hello. Thanks for joining us, and give us a shout. Let's hear what you find interesting.
I
If
like
you find
that you're
anything
doing
interesting.
this. Yes, I like how you're doing this. You're picking out individual places where there might be just one or two particular people, and you pick them out and single them out, which is very good. I hope our listeners are listening in from those no, I can't get my teeth out here. Those locations when they're hearing us mention that area. Please, please, please write in and say hi that we've mentioned you. So yeah, Tayo's doing that. It's really good. I like it. So thank
Yes,
you, sir,
I'm
for
really curious. We're not likely to run out because apparently we're being downloaded in over 1,000 cities, believe it or not. It's quite amazing.
wow. Very good.
So
Very good. Right.
today's to this week's
Okay.
factoid. South Korean researchers have developed tiny liquid metal robots inspired by the T-1000 from Terminator 2.
You're kidding me.
I'm not kidding. So they are little tiny things that look like, well, they look like when it's in liquid form, when the T-1000 had sort of melted or whatever or disassembled, it looks like that, but just little, not little,
Yeah.
not a droplet exactly, more than a droplet,
Mm.
but less than a puddle. And then the thing just goes through on the link I'm going to send you. It just goes through a little fence. It just very easily just goes up to it and goes, yeah, I know, and then and then goes past it. It's incredible.
Has it for our listeners out there and viewers, if you've not seen the Terminator films, you
Oh,
need to see the Terminator films. They are a bit old
absolutely.
now, obviously, with Arnold Schwarzenegger as the head. But yes, the T1000 tire is talking about is liquid metal, and it's an AI controlled, you heard that first, AI
Mm.
controlled robot. And you're now saying that the South Koreans have developed one. Was the film a prophecy of the future? I mean,
Well,
it's
it's not AI controlled. It's controlled by magnetism right now, but
okay.
it's the start of the thing. I mean, obviously,
It's not going to be a big leap before it gets to be AI controlled, is it?
it carries right now. It carries chemical packages, so it's not too far a leap to think it can. I mean, as people tend to do, unfortunately, the human race weaponize it in some way, which would be
Indeed.
unfortunate. But on the other hand, could it be some way of sending chemicals to places where it's badly needed, but it's too dangerous for humans to go? Now, that could be fantastic.
There are obviously the positives and negatives of
Mm,
each of these bits of technology, but let's hope it stays more in the positive rather than the negative. I don't want
absolutely.
some human liquid metal person. Imagine that if the army have people like, oh dear, I beg, don't want to talk about it. Right, let's
No.
move on with today's topic. And this one is an interesting one. And once I've said the title, if you, Tyre, would like to explain who this is, because some of our listeners may not know the name of this company. But is a site like Ashley Madison immoral? And should the government ban it? So, first off, do you want to kick off as to who Ashley Madison are and what do they do?
Okay, well, I don't want anyone to draw any conclusions, but for once, I do actually know what I'm talking about here. So, this is Ashley Madison. It's a Canadian French online dating service. well, they call themselves an online dating and social networking service, launched all the way back in 2002, which is quite astonishing to think people were doing that sort of thing in 2002. And it was, and still is, I believe, marketed to people who are married but are looking for a little something on the side, so to speak.
Can use
So
the
it's
English term slap and tickle.
slap and tickle,
It's
little
an English term,
rumpty
yeah.
dumpty, what's it, rumpty, all that sort of thing. Yes, a little bit of spice. So
Do
these
you know
are
what their
married
tagline
people.
is, by the way?
What the tagline is? Oh, I do actually. Life is too short. Life is too short. Is that life is short? Have an affair.
Yes. Goodness me.
That's hilarious, actually. I mean, just the pure mercenary aspect of
I
it
know.
is quite praiseworthy. You just think you are a piece of scum for coming up with this idea, but you are deliciously humorous scum
Yeah.
to have come up with it. And the people who go onto it, they're a different sort of kettle of fish, aren't they?
Well, I- they're going on there. I mean, do you know that they actually are saying that the company itself, I think it was the owner, the previous
Mm.
owner, or CEO. That's it, CEO. I've got him here now. Here we go. Noel Biderman. And he said that his site actually saves marriages because, okay, very controversial and there's very little evidence to support what he said, although there has been some feedback from the users of the site itself. And the reason he says this, it's because there's a lot of marriages out there where there are many unmet needs. And
Mm.
so rather than the marriage ending,
Mm-hmm.
if people can release, they don't want to end the marriage, they just want to release. And this site facilitates that, allows people to meet up for a small fee, of course.
Yeah,
And
of course.
therefore, yeah, and therefore releases that tension, that bit that may be missing from the marriage itself. And those people who have participated in this action through the site don't want a divorce, don't want to leave their partner, but something's missing. But rather than work on that missing ingredient, they're seeking sexual satisfaction and gratification elsewhere, it would appear.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, so we would probably need some kind of evidence because it's very self-serving of the former CEO to say, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. This site really helps," and all sorts of things really help, but we look askance upon them. For example, shooting speeding drivers that really helps bring down people the speed limit. If you just shot them in their cars whilst they were speeding, a lot of people would just, even tire would slow down, man. So
Oh,
this is it.
didn't you tell me that you never speed? No?
Well, now that you say that, now that you've just thank you for reminding me that I used to speed, quite a lot. But fortunately, I've grown up now, so I don't any longer. But for other people who still do, they might be dissuaded from speeding if a bullet could come zipping through the windscreen at any time and take you out, I think. So,
Indeed.
yes, just because something works to ameliorate a situation doesn't mean that it's acceptable as practiced. The main concern, because I was asking myself, what is the problem? People want to have affairs. A lot of people castigate Ashley Madison and call them irresponsible, immoral, words like that, it's just unethical. And I was thinking to myself, well, what's the problem? And at first, I couldn't see one. And I thought, look, it's consenting adults. So boo hoo, your partner, I hate that word, your spouse or your significant other is having an affair, put on your big boy pants or your grandma bra and deal with it. But if you think about what I just said, I said it and you probably didn't even register the word
Put on your big brown
consent.
pants. It's
No,
consenting.
consenting.
Yes.
The person who's been cheated upon isn't consenting.
Yes.
That's the problem. So I got it. Oh yeah, yeah, that's the problem. If it's an
Infidelity is
open
exactly that.
if it's an open marriage, everyone's aware of it. Fine. I don't think anyone. So if Ashley Madison said this is for people in an open relationship, and we need to know that both parties are happy with it, well, what's the problem?
Hmm.
I mean, it's a bit for those of us who are very pro conservative traditional marriage. Then we will feel, well, is that really a marriage? But if the individuals inside the marriage are happy with the situation, who are we to tell them how to live their lives?
Indeed.
So that would have been a way out, but that's not how it works. How it works is someone is sneaking around behind the other one's back.
Well, it's illicit. That's the whole point, isn't it? It's
Mm,
it's a relationship hidden between one of the parties of the marriage.
mm,
Because if you are married or in a long-term relationship, you're making some sort of commitment there, and then you're. But then again, marriages are complicated. I don't want to sit on one or the other side of the fence here. I want to try and give a more balanced viewpoint. A lot of relationships, healthy ones, begin in things like this. Some people meet accidentally in a work scenario. What's the difference? That all that's happened is Ashley Madison and the ilk. I mean, we'll touch on a few others. We can't just pin pin it only on them because there are others. They are just enabling that connection because you could argue that people who aren't married but in a relationship of some sort, then why are they doing it? Because it's not just married people. Do you see what I mean? So what's going on here? Is it because then their needs aren't being met? So should they then confront their partner or spouse to open up the needs and say, look, what's going on here? Or is it something that can't be discussed or one of the parties refuses to discuss or deal with? And therefore, you're left in this unbalanced situation where one party is not, how can I put fulfilling? Because there's no real fulfilling in a relationship, but they're not doing what one has expected. And so their expectations aren't there.
mm,
And rather than break up the relationship because of maybe children, they don't want to, you know, turn each other's lives upside down. They then turn to something like this, which will negate the need to disrupt everything, but they still get some of their needs met. I don't know. I'm torn as to the benefit or whether it's good or bad, if I'm honest.
I was giggling and chuckling to myself there as you were speaking because I'm going to have to play devil's advocate here just because, I'm going to have to. The idea that one party is letting down the other party and should step up to the plate. You know, as a man, I can assure you that my experience, if you find the other party to be unappealing, there isn't that much you can do. There's not that much you can do about it. The biology just goes, yeah, baby, I'm not interested in this man. You go ahead, but leave me out of this. And if you've been with this woman for donkey's years and you just look at it, you go, yeah, no, not really. Not really feeling it tonight. What are you gonna do, man? It is what it is. So on behalf of men, I'm gonna just cut them some slack and say, yeah, that's not how it works. And I suspect it's the same thing for women. I mean, I don't know, but I guess for women, if they're not feeling it, they're not feeling it. What are you going to do? I mean, it's not as if people get turned off on purpose.
That's true.
So it's just the way things are. And with modern life, and a lot of women, for example, I watched a few of their TikToks and things. They say they're coming home tired, and now for them, for women, and other women agree with them. They say they've got to be in the mood that for women, sex is actually as mental as it is physical.
Yes.
So if they come back and then they're mentally drained after a hard day at the office and all, there's just not, there's nothing you can sort of, there's nothing they can do about it, and there's nothing the man can do about it. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
So they're not relaxed. They're not, pleasantly chill. They're not feeling it basically. And this biological aspect of it, I think we got to cut people slack, man. Now, if
Mm.
she or he, I can't imagine why he would do it, but if she is withholding it for some reason, which is she could, but she's saying, no, I'm not going to because I want you to do X, Y, Z, well, that's a problem. And likewise, if it's the guy saying, I'm not going to unless you do X, Y, Z, that's where there's a problem. But if it's where someone can just sit down, even in front of a third party, for instance, for example, a therapist or something, and you say, look, man, I love the woman, but I just don't want to. Or she says, yeah, look, man, I love this guy, but there's just something about his face right now that's just turning me off. So not really interested. What are you
So
going to
you're
do?
so you're in effect endorsing companies like Ashley Madison by that statement.
No, because a lot of people were foolish enough when they were getting married to say for better or for worse. So unfortunately, you got for worse. So that's
Well,
it, really. Now, if you didn't say that, if you were like someone I know, if you catch my drift, I never said that. I was very specific about what I said, and I meant what I said. But other people are not as careful, and you do sometimes just say things you shouldn't say. But when you make a promise, you really should keep to it. I mean, that's my bottom line. You should keep to your promise, and you said for better or for worse, and it's for worse. So you've got to find ways around it. Yeah, I mean, for example, I don't want to make this an adult type show, so people are going to have to read between the lines. For example, there are other things you can do. You see? Doesn't have to be the full whack, right?
yeah,
So, she's at least willing, for the other things, or you are willing for the other things. It's all doable. You don't really have to get out to Ashley Madison or the other website,
others.
or have an affair with someone in the office, which I think is probably the worst solution of all, because that's bound to go badly at some point. Have you heard about this poor guy? No, I heard. Did you see the guy and the woman at the show? What's the name of the
Coldplay
of the group?
concert. Coldplay.
If they had just acted normally, it would have been fine.
I know.
It was turning around and acting like, oh, they caught us. Everyone was like, caught you doing what?
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
stand
They
there and
they
wave.
they made
Yay.
it worse.
And no one would have known anything, I think. And could you explain? You're always better at explaining things than me, because people are wondering, what is it? Are they
What is
talking
going on?
about?
For those tuning in and are unaware, by the time we've done this recording, there was a Coldplay concert, and it was in America. And what they tend to do is they scan the audience with a camera. The camera goes around, and Chris Martin, who is the lead singer of Coldplay, will comment and over the speaker, "Go on, kiss, kiss." And they do this in games in America as well, baseball and American football. And so the camera's panning around the audience, getting people to kiss if they see them snuggling up. And it just so happened that a couple were caught in an embrace on camera, but they shouldn't have been because they were having an illicit affair. Because one was the CEO and one was the one of the directors
The
of
HR
HR
basically. Well,
director.
that's not the name, but it's basically
Yeah. Yeah.
resolves to HR.
And so they were caught on camera. And because, as Tayo said, they tried to hide being caught, even though this thing is, you've got a stadium of 40 or 50,000 people all seeing it. And because they hid away, people video it with their phones as this camera's going around. So not only are you being seen on the big screen in front of 40,000 people, whoever happens to be filming that at the time is going to be putting it on social media. So it was viewed by millions of people. And so what they should have done, they should have just carried on or acted as normal, but no, they
Act as normal, plant a kiss on her, and keep your fingers crossed because it would have been normal.
yeah,
No one would have thought about it.
exactly.
It'd have been really unlucky if one of the, well, but as a CEO of a company, more than likely someone's going to see that.
Well, I'm not so
Much more than
sure. It
likely.
depends if you're not one of the big boys, and it's not a big company. It wasn't that
Mm,
big a company. It's not unlikely to be known outside of the circles of that company. So yeah, there's a possibility, although slim. But because they made a thing about it,
yeah.
it got
Hilarious, by the way,
amplified.
guys. If you can actually go online and find it, I mean, I find it hilarious. I just couldn't just the way they were, and then it's like,
It was
what are you
caught in
people
the
doing?
act. Yeah,
So cool. You're so nailed, dude. And
yeah,
yeah,
I know.
she's already filed for divorce,
Oh,
and
I
I don't know
know
if that's
his wife.
California or something. That's like 50% just walked out of the door.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
I know.
so Ashley Madison, there it's a similar sort of well, similar-ish, if you really emphasize the ish, the ish part of it, which is that what year was this? Excuse me, I don't know. Oh, 2015.
Oh, when they had the data
They
breach.
had the data breach, guys.
Oh, this was horrible.
But
Horrible.
don't you expect? I mean, when you go onto such a website, you've got to expect that you're going to be caught. Look,
Well,
when a certain driver goes screaming down the highway, okay, that certain driver has the mindset that he could be caught. All right. So
let me just set the
if
scene, folks. You're not understanding this. My good friend and colleague, Mr. Tayaboya, I saw him getting into his car, but before he takes the driving position, he ties a brick underneath his foot so he gets better leverage on the accelerator pedal.
that's absolutely untrue, but people will take it seriously, man. You got to own up. That's not true. No,
I
no,
am
that's not.
joking, folks. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
exactly. Well,
uh,
all I'm trying to say is you've got to have an expectation when you do something wrong. You have to have an expectation that you'll be caught,
indeed,
and you have to have thought about it and be willing to take the consequences. And if you're not willing to take the consequences, what did the Americans say? If you don't want to do the time, don't do the crime. It's
indeed.
something like that.
Yeah.
If you're going to be worried, you shouldn't be on a website like or whatever is it a platform like Ashley Madison because you never know what's going to happen.
Indeed.
I can't understand how people take the risk and then they're all. Look, I'm going to be honest about it. I was really shocked to find out that after that public exposure, some people got themselves into a situation where they were being extorted,
Yep.
and then some people ended their lives.
That's really horrible. But then again, that's because of the data breach, not for
No,
the.
I'm saying, but you, if being caught in such a situation led to you ending your life,
That's
you
awful.
shouldn't have been on that
No,
platform
indeed.
because the possibility of being caught was always there.
It wasn't high, let's be honest. It's not it's not high in those sense of the as you would normally say if someone was having an affair at work. That's a
Mm.
higher risk than if you go on a platform such as this, because normally it's well, I don't know exactly the detail, but I suspect you're not going to be in the local area. Would you pick somebody who's further away? And they're in the same situation. They're doing it with eyes open. They know what they're both doing, so they're meeting up for consensual sex, and that's it. They don't want any ties. They're just doing it to relieve a situation, I suppose. But it's all sex related, if you notice. It's not like they're
I don't
meeting
really
up to have a
understand one thing.
chat.
sorry, I don't. Sorry to interrupt. I don't understand one thing. I suppose I could have looked it up. I don't, maybe you understand. Are both parties married? I mean, is this really? I guess what I'm asking is this prostitution pretending to be something else?
Do you know what? I asked that same question. I was thinking about the same thing. However, it's not because
Really?
all they're doing is because remember, the two parties aren't receiving any money. And that includes so one there, the two parties engaged in the act. If there's no money between them two being exchanged, then it's not prostitution. It's if money is exchanging hands between one and another, then
Mm.
that's prostitution. And then that depends on the law of the land. So,
How would Ashley Madison know though?
but they wouldn't know. So
Okay, so
they're
what
not
I'm
culpable.
asking
They're
is,
just they're
uh,
it's like saying Ashley Madison are the facilitators.
yes, but
So,
are they checking the women who are usually the ones who ask for money in exchange for what rum tea, whatever it's called?
oh, I see.
So
So
yeah,
what, a further payment? I
no,
doubt that.
yeah. So
Uh,
that means the women are wives and the men are husbands.
Yes. Which is
Okay.
exactly what this site is saying. It's not it's not shying away from that claim. It is allowing people, for whatever background they're from, to hook up discreetly and have extramarital affairs or whatever they're called. I mean, look,
Okay.
I don't want to keep the emphasis just on this one company, Ashley Madison. There are several others. I'll mention just a few that I've found. See what you think of some of the names of these. There's Heated Affairs. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And this is again, by the name says Heated Affairs. I mean, imagine. What I'm curious about is all these sites, they take payment with credit card. So how does that appear on people's statements? Surely is it Heated Affairs on the bill? I mean, that's why Ashley Madison used that name because you don't really associate it, but I don't know what it appears on transactions, in banking transactions. I don't know. Another one is Victoria Milan. That's apparently that one's really security aware because it anonymizes profiles and it's very strong encryption.
Sorry, what's the name again? For no good reason.
Victoria Milan, but these
Yeah.
are not UK based. Another one is Gleeden. This one actually slightly different to the others. It's free for women to join, but men have to pay
As
because
usual.
it's more for women, this site, to meet men. It's designed by women for
So
women
why aren't the women paying?
because it's to encourage women to join it. That was part of the angle. It's easier for men to join sites than women, apparently. So that's where this angle is.
It is easier for men to join sites than women.
To these sorts of sites than women, yes. There are far less women on the sites than men by and large.
Okay.
Because let's be perfectly honest, from a biological point of view, a man has sex in a can have sex in a functional way. That's
Mm.
why men, I mean, we've touched on it, but we'll cover on it now. That's why men, I mean, in the high 90s, I haven't got the figure in front of me, go to prostitutes. Whereas, because they can make that detachment, they're not even in an affair with the prostitute. They're
Mm.
just, it's a transaction. It's
Yeah.
just to relieve themselves. And so they're happy to do that without, you know, anything towards the emotions of that female that they've just engaged with. It's just a transaction. They feel better, they've let go, and they can go back to their partners, wives, loved ones, whatever, as if nothing happened because they can have this emotional detachment with sex.
Mm.
And
Mm.
as you rightly said at the beginning of the show, women and sex are totally different. There's more emotion involved. There's more thought involved. So the statistics clearly show. I mean, some women do go to male prostitutes. It's not like it doesn't happen, but certainly not in the same numbers that men do. The figures are stark in terms of comparison. I wish I had the figures in front of me because I did look it up and I didn't Make a note.
There's a very good film for no particular reason than it's germane. If you like, well, it's a film, it's fictional. It's germane to the conversation. It's called Chloe, Chloe, and it's got that actress in the one that's in Mamma Mia. I forget her name now.
Don't know. I haven't seen Mamma Mia.
Eh?
I haven't seen Mamma Mia. I haven't.
Kind of person am I?
My friend and colleague is gobsmacked. I haven't seen Mamma Mia. No, I haven't. I haven't.
Anyway, it was about it's tangential. So tangential to this about an affair with well, I suppose a prostitute, basically a call girl. They called her, I think, in the film.
Right.
And the
So
guys,
Chloe was a call girl.
Chloe was a call girl.
Okay.
The wife found out that the husband was using her services. She got curious herself, and then the film went on from there. So it's a good film, I think, in my opinion, and worth checking it out if you like that sort of thing. And if you don't, I completely understand. Yeah, I just thought I'd just throw that in as an aside. So here's the thing. You and I don't know if we're talking online or offline because we talk all the time. I remember I mentioned that a woman's body count has an impact after only 5 different lovers. Remember
Yeah.
that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So I mean, for a man, 5 is a rather great weekend. So, somewhere up Newcastle way, that kind of. Let's say it better. The thing is that men are very different, as you're saying. So for women to be on this site, and I am now going back to this Ashley Madison, which is one I was aware of. I would imagine I didn't realize they were married, but if they're married, then they really are the ones who would probably be in that niche of, look, I'm not going to leave my husband, but I just need some extra.
Fulfillment.
And I thought it was attention rather than going all the way.
Well, it's strange because
Oh, yeah, sorry.
the site itself doesn't exclusively imply that you're going to end up having some nookie with the partner because
Exactly.
because you can actually just meet up just for companionship.
Not even meet up. Listen, it says here, this is on Ashley Madison, the Wikipedia website. It
Yeah.
says it's based on credits. And for a conversation between two members, one of the members, always the man, must pay 8 credits to initiate the conversation. Any follow-up messages between the two members are complimentary after starting conversation. It has a real-time chat feature where credits buy a certain amount of time allotment. So I don't suppose men will be showing up if they weren't getting something. But I wonder if women show up just for the conversations, so to speak.
I
I
dare
don't know.
say they do.
Yeah, this is what
Yeah.
I'm beginning to wonder. And then I'm of the opinion, because I have absolutely no proof whatsoever, that there will be many women on there whose business it is to entertain men, if you catch my drift.
Possibly, I don't know. I mean, the vetting that they use on the site, I wouldn't have a clue. Let's be honest. That's
What is very
obviously for
funny,
them to do. Go on.
what is very funny, it says there's in quotation marks, the full delete. So full delete is in quotation marks. The full delete option claims to remove user profiles, all messages sent and received, site history, and personally identifiable information and photos. However, in the data breach of 2015, it was revealed that this permanent deletion feature did not permanently delete anything, and all data was recoverable.
So,
Imagine.
so it gave people the false sense of security that their
Well, you're
data
cheating.
could be
Guess
deleted.
you're cheating. Guess who else is cheating?
They are too. I mean, let's be honest. If everybody got spooked, you'd have thought, imagine they had a big red button on their phone. If I get caught, I could just press that and then no one will know anything. And everyone's pressing it, but oh no, it's not working. Oh
Sorry,
dear.
this function is temporarily unavailable.
Unavailable. Oh
For
no.
how long,
Oh
man?
no. Oh dear.
What a life.
I mean, I was talking earlier about different sites. I found one here for UK specific. Now, this one's interesting, called Illicit Encounters. So this is a UK based. The others are not UK based, but that one
Mm.
is. There's one which is more along the lines of what we were just discussing called Adult Friend Finder. Now,
Ah.
this one is sort of a broader based hookup site, but it's also for people that just want to communicate and chat and all the rest of it. Yes, it does progress for people to hook up, but it does also include people that just want to chat. So yeah, this one, Adult Friend Finder. That's interesting.
I have actually thought about starting not a website. I never really thought it all the way through. But it was one Christmas when someone was saying, would I like to join in and phone people as a charity or something? Join in and phone lonely people and just be a friend for a day, because the Christmas period is a lot of people are very lonely because they don't have anyone to chat to or anything.
Yeah,
And I was thinking to myself, why do I have to phone up and speak to these people? If they're lonely, why not just connect them to one another?
indeed.
Duh.
That's a brilliant, brilliant suggestion.
That's what I
Brilliant
thought.
suggestion.
Just do it.
Yeah.
So
So
it's a
you're
little bit like this thing where you're talking about. It's just
Adult
there's
Friend
no,
Finder.
yeah, there's no hanky panky or anything. It's just I'm lonely, you're lonely. Well, let's just
I think the barrier there has been the IT element. A lot of people who are lonely tend to be older people, maybe
hmm,
people who are widowed, and they're not really IT literate, so they don't understand that there's this world online available to them. And so they tend to be more insular because they're just not aware of it. So even
so
if
that
there
would
was
be
a
the job then
facility,
of the charity to create that awareness and to
indeed.
put them on it. However, straight away I can see a problem immediately, which is the vultures and the hyenas circling around.
Yes, exactly.
So for older people like that, it could be really dangerous to get involved in a situation
Well,
where they're not savvy. They could end up
indeed,
losing everything, unfortunately.
indeed, and also this grey vote, because they'll be greyer, they'll be older, and less aware of the scams that are you
Yeah.
know, perpetrated online and elsewhere. So yeah, you're increasing that chance of them being ripped off, which is someone vulnerable already. They're looking for somebody to just be a friend, and then they get scammed because some profiteering, I won't say it on here,
Mm,
will try and manipulate them, which
mm.
happens, which is a shame.
I suppose the charity would have to stay involved, just as an oversight. Just make sure everything is above board. And if people start saying, "Hey, let's talk in private," then you start going, "Well, why do you need to talk in private?" That sort of thing. Maybe just ban that person straight away and cut that person's
The
cut
only
that
way,
person's
the only
access.
way that this thing would work in a sort of way would be to do it local. So you say this is it's not a hookup place, because
Mm.
they do even now have places where lonely hearts, effectively, they all go there for the evening. They all got a flower in their pocket or some sort of symbol.
A
So
flower
everyone,
in their
do you
pocket.
know what I mean? I'm just
No, I
exaggerating
don't
there.
know what I
Right.
mean.
It's some symbol. You have a little ribbon, and that means you're one of these people who are looking for a date. And what happens is you turn up to this place, and there's, I don't know, 30, 40 people there. Every single one of the people there are looking for a partner. So the idea is you get to chat to others in like you would a bar or a club, but it isn't a bar or a club. It's just a nice venue, and people can just relax and chill, and everybody in the room is looking for somebody. So you can chat to people, and some people hit it off straight away, some do not, and they're just able to chat. And obviously there is a bar, there are those that want to drink, and it's a social gathering. And that's for people to meet up. That's a
Mm.
way of doing it. Maybe that could be extended. I don't know if it's done already. I don't know. For people who are a lot older, perhaps, maybe that aren't keen on doing anything online, but perhaps want to meet up in person. Maybe there is a facility for that because in person you're less likely, well, it's not that it doesn't happen, but
Well,
less likely to be scammed.
what I'm curious about, Tony, is how you know about this.
I have two friends who are divorcees and they both go to these sessions. One is a male, one is a female, it's totally separate. And they go to these sorts of
Why
events
don't you
to meet
introduce
other
them
people.
together then? Why don't you introduce them to one another?
No, no. There's an age difference and it just not compatible. No,
I see.
no.
Interesting. Okay, so now back to our subject matter here. What I want to ask you is this: what, because I haven't formed an opinion on this yet. What is materially different between? Well, I suppose I've just answered my question in my head. Anyway, I'll ask you: what is materially different between a site like Ashley Madison and Tinder or Reddit cheating forums
They
or
may,
even an AI girlfriend app? Because, by the way, my understanding of women, which might be flawed, I am after all a man, yes, is that women would like the Japanese. When we spoke about the Japanese women who don't mind. Well, I suppose they used to not mind. I don't know if they mind now because they're modern and feminist and all this nonsense. But the Japanese women traditionally didn't mind if their husbands went to the geishas.
yes,
They don't mind that. But under no circumstances was he allowed to form an emotional bond with a geisha, because
yes.
that would be then traduce not what is it, breaking, not breaking, being in that would be infidelity as far as those women
Right,
were concerned. That
right.
is the point at which, so if it's just physical slap and tickle, like, it's meaningless, they care less. So an AI girlfriend app, if there's an emotional bond there, like, I'll switch off your phone, and then the guy loses his temper, and because he's formed an attachment with this thing. I think most women will find that extremely threatening to their
That's
emotional.
interesting, isn't it? That raises a completely different question. I mean, we did do a a show about AI and robotics for the future,
Mm.
if it will replace affection and love.
Well,
I
we're
know,
talking about this Psy Cafe, whatever it is in Berlin, where you actually it's a brothel with robots.
yeah.
Psy Cafe, I think it's
Yeah, but
called.
we covered it on a different topic as well. Are you having an affair if you're having a virtual sex?
All right.
Do you remember that? We covered
Yes, I
that
do.
as a
I do. I
show.
do. Yes.
So that had a lot of unanswered questions in it because, what's going on there? Is that worse than one of these sites? Because these sites here, they're just advocating humans together, but no emotional attachment. You're just meeting up for affairs because maybe is lacking in your relationship. You don't want to leave your partner. But
Mm.
if you have an attachment to an AI, because some of them you can create yourself, you can
Mm-hmm.
create them in various ways, actually, physically and as a character. So if you get an emotional attachment because you're picking and choosing the traits that you like, so you're more likely to get an emotional attachment to that AI.
Mm-hmm. And the AI learns
Yeah, learns and would respond to
and will
your
respond to you and will
comments.
start
Yeah.
working really, really well with you. You can't. Eventually, you will not be able to find a human who can
Who
offer you
matches
the
the
same
AI. And
companionship
the
that the
point
AI
is, though,
could.
but the AI would probably be worse than these sites because it would meet and tick all the boxes that the individual is seeking. Whereas one of these sites is throwing up another person
Mm,
with their faults as a human as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be that much of an emotional attachment. I think there will be some, of course, but not that much where because they know up front. They say, look, you're only here to have fun. There's no emotional attachment here. But what I'd like to know is in those circumstances where one of the people who's having the affair actually gets an emotional attachment.
Yeah,
What
that's the
happens
problem.
there? How does that complicate things?
Well, I don't suppose you ever tell them your real name. I mean, it'd be foolish to call me your real name. I mean, you'd always be, the knife. Not not Tony, not obviously. You'd
No,
choose
no,
an
no.
alias, and
Yeah.
that alias would be you'd never ever, under any circumstances, you meet in a third town where nobody knows you, probably show up by cab, not your car, all sorts of things. Maybe not use a credit card, pay in cash, all sorts of things. I suppose you could do.
Yeah, but with the advent of cameras everywhere, how would you ever hide?
Well,
It's
you're not
just not.
hiding. You're not hiding from her. I mean, you're trying to make sure that he or she can't follow you back home. That's the most important thing. So what you're doing is, if you keep it to 3 meetings and that's it. I think that's what people say. I don't know if that was a film I was watching or a book I've read or
Three
something.
meetings,
So
really?
if you meet someone 3 times, that's about the limit. After that, emotions will start to come into it, even for men. So
Wow.
it's like, yeah, just you know, 1, 2, 3, thank you very much, and find someone else. Because otherwise,
But
that
then that does beg the question, why bother? You
it's a
could
lot of
actually
palaver.
end up, you might as well, if you're just looking for a little bit of, if it's just sex that people are looking for, you might as well go to a prostitute, mightn't you? Why go to all this fuss?
Who
Do you
knows?
see?
Who knows?
Because the risk then is of an emotional attachment. So you're actually adding that risk in. Not only are you having to divulge information about yourself because you've got to pay these companies, so you've got to
Mm,
pay them with a credit card. Yes, they try and keep things discreet and everybody there knows what they're doing, but there is that risk that someone could, for whatever reason, get emotionally attached with you and you're running that risk. Whereas if you're if it's just a sexual thing, then why are you not finding a prostitute, be it female or male, really? Because you know that they're only in it for the transaction.
maybe
So
you've answered yourself. Maybe you've answered yourself. Maybe it is more than just the physical thing. Perhaps it's the reason why people bungee jump. They are
the thrill,
risk takers, the thrill.
right? The thrill.
So they're just after the thrill of it and the danger of it. Now, and I would propose that actually that would even appeal more to women than anything else because it's exciting, and women don't like boredom.
Do you know what? Do you know, you've just reminded me of something a friend of mine used to say when we were growing up. Well, we were adults, but young adults. And
Mm.
he used to say, when we'd go clubbing, he used to say, I love the chase. I love the thrill of the
Mm.
chase, but I don't like the
Arriving.
final bit, arrival. It's nice, but it's not, So, and I dare say a lot of women nowadays have to sort of maybe perhaps take that on board a bit because if they're giving up too easily to a man, that could be not a good sign unless they desperately need sex themselves.
But they're only giving up to the same 10% of men. So 10% of men are getting 90% of the action. That's the problem. And those men, obviously, like we said, there's no emotional attachment. And they treat these women like disposable. Well, I mean, they are disposable. But the women form attachments, and the women end up saying all men are trash. No, all men are trash. It's the same 10% that you've been chasing because you're hypergamous. So, duh.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, what about your thoughts about whether, I mean, we haven't really touched on it. Should the government ban it? Because that's actually the question we're asking. Should the government ban these sites?
I don't know. You're getting to the point where you're saying, should the government ban illegal, illicit affairs? We used to. I suppose the consequences for adultery used to be quite severe at one time, especially for the woman, but it wasn't exactly free for the man either. So would just be going back, believe it, just as usual, society going back on itself. in a very sort of leisurely and very wide circle to go back on itself and say, yeah, we've tried this other way and it's not really working out. For example, for example, the ban on no fault divorce now in, I believe, is in Tennessee. I think it's up and running in the state of Tennessee in the United States. They've banned no fault divorce. So you can't just wake up in the morning and say, I'm not happy with my husband. My wife doesn't. I don't like her face, and I want a divorce. You will not get anything in a divorce. I think is what they're saying. So you do a no force divorce. I don't even know how it really works, but it's going back to what it used to be that you used to have to prove something on the other person's part.
That you're not happy with. But then
Yeah, so
surely you can
no, it
make
can't be I'm not
anything.
happy. Well, think about look, I remember the old I wasn't there back in the 50s. I'm not that old, but I remember films about it. And when I was growing up watching these films and everything, you had to catch the person with another party, and there'd be a detective. You would hire a detective, they'd follow him or her, take pictures, and then that would be what you present to court. To court. So just saying, yeah, he did this or did that to me. And I think, believe all women, that's a nonsense that it's way past its bedtime. We will have to show bruises and witnesses and things before we believe you and go, well, okay, this is spousal abuse, so on and so forth. If emotional, it's called emotional damage. What is it called now? Where they say, oh yeah, it's emotional damage. He's emotionally unavailable. So I'm damaged somehow. They go, well, we don't know what that is. You guys go to therapy and work it out. So all these sort of just easy peasy, ridiculous ways of getting out of a marriage and taking half his stuff, all that is gone. I think the Tennessee case, you're not saying you're not going to get a divorce, but you're not taking anything.
Okay.
So that is a start towards a more equitable solution. And I think
Rebalancing
it's a
because it's gone
rebalancing.
too
And as part of
far.
that
It's just pushed
rebalancing,
back.
why would we tolerate a site that enables or facilitates infidelity? We wouldn't. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, if you were
So,
just
but
open for everyone,
prostitution isn't illegal. Did you know that? Especially in the UK where we are. Did you know that?
yes, I think we did an entire show on prostitution, didn't we?
That was a long time ago.
We did
One
an
of our
entire,
early shows. Yeah. It's not actually illegal. It's
no,
when you're
it's
exchanging money and
soliciting.
soliciting it. Yeah. You can't do it in public.
Soliciting
You
is
can't do it
illegal.
in a car, on a street.
You can't ask for money.
No, no. But you can
So
engage in it. Yeah. So it's not illegal in that
I
respect.
suppose it's if the tip. If you
Tip.
if you find someone who's just so fantastic, you go, here, here's a little something for you. That would be perfectly legal. One hell of one hell of a way to end a date, isn't it? In the morning. My
Wow.
God, you were good last night. Here's 500, man. Thanks. See, it's like, what, what,
What's going on here?
what's going on here? Yeah.
Oh dear me. Okay, I mean, do we
Well,
do we so you're saying that they should be banned or not? I'm
oh,
still
oh,
not clear.
oh. I think in a well-regulated society they'll definitely be banned. It's fostering purely illicit behavior. There's nothing good about it. It's two married people and you're helping them to break their marriage vows. That's not okay. So even Tinder, I mean, if for example, if Tinder knows you're married, they should actually kick you off the thing. In my world,
Yeah, but okay, there's a human rights issue here.
there's not human right. You don't have
No,
a
there
right
is
to do something
because
illicit.
you've
Okay.
got the right to do what you want as a private citizen. You can't have government involved in what you do in your sexual life. That's not the government has no right to be there. And also, there's no crime. Being adulterous is not a crime.
Well, who decides what is immoral enough? Who
Well,
decides
immoral,
that?
exactly. Immoral enough is set by the population.
Yes. So I'm saying, if the
But
population, if the population is people by people like me, I'm saying, yeah, you got to ban it. I mean, you're married.
I think you're in
You
the
shouldn't.
minority. I
Yeah, I am
think,
in a minority,
yeah,
but you know what? There's a minority that will grow over a period of time, as the consequences of not doing this will be seen.
I'm not
We are
sure. I
we are
think they'll
too.
still happen, whether they've got sites like this or not. So I
Yes,
don't
yes,
think,
yes, 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 yes. They will still happen. I'm not arguing. That's a different argument. I'm not saying they're not going to happen, but the websites will be illegal if they let that happen. So if they want to operate legally, they can't let married people onto their sites, and they can't facilitate infidelity.
but that means they'll have to be checking on every word spoken, every text sent.
No, just are you married or not? That's all. Just make someone sign a declaration.
So that
That's all.
means other platforms like Facebook, where this could also happen, do you then have to then say if you're married or not and be kicked
Yes, it
off?
should just be the law. No, what do you mean? Why are you being kicked off Facebook? Facebook
Well,
doesn't exist for you to have an affair.
no,
The
but you could
purpose
do the
of
same thing. Do you see what
no,
I
hold
mean?
on. No, 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 no. Hold no, 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 no. The purpose of Ashley Madison is to put two married people together to have an illicit affair. That's their purpose.
Their purpose
Facebook
is to
doesn't
put
have.
two people together. It doesn't have to be married.
I thought they were meant to be just strictly for married people. Isn't that what it
No.
says? Have no, hold on. Then why did they say, if that's the case, why
Life
did
is
they
short,
say,
have an affair.
yeah,
Yeah, you can
go
have
on.
an affair with being in a relationship. You don't have to be married
Well, I'm talking about how's it an affair if it's a relationship? It's not
because you can,
if there's
because
no ring on
it's
it, if
you
there's no ring on it,
know, that's
no,
just no,
I spoke about
that's the
marital. I
difference.
spoke about marital vows. I never said
Okay.
about some slap and tickle, long term slap and tickle girlfriend somewhere. That's nothing. There's no ring on it. Nothing is happening. Nobody cares. I don't care. So that's you can't have an affair with someone if you're not
Well,
married.
it is, you can.
No, you can't.
Because you can, because you're
No, you
still
can't.
breaking a pact.
There's no pact. There's no pact. The state doesn't recognize any pact. I don't recognize any pact. The person is a free agent. There might be a pact in your head, but that's your problem. You want a pact, someone's going to put a ring on something. That's what makes it a pact. That's what makes it a pact. So I'm not accepting that framing of the situation at all. I'm saying that we should not, as a society, let people say things that aren't true. We had a discussion, not who knows when. We've had so many discussions. We had a discussion where I was saying, why do judges say life in prison and then the person comes out after 7 years? Why would you say life in prison if you don't mean life in prison? The entire society is just riven through with lies and deception and misdirection. We've really fallen very, very far from well, I don't know if we're ever
From
the
the
good
truth.
old days, but yeah, from the truth. It's a horrible situation now. You get married, you can't go to Ashley Madison and start an affair because you're married. And Ashley Madison shouldn't exist to enable you to do that.
What if you've got, okay, let's pick on individual circumstances then, where you've got people in a relationship and they love one another, but one of them has an illness, so they can't fulfill any sexual obligations.
Mm-hmm. It's not an affair then.
It's
It's
not an
an open
affair.
marriage. No, it's an open marriage where one person, the party who's unable to offer satisfaction to the other party agrees that the other
Yeah, but
party can
that's
step
hard.
outside.
If they don't, if one doesn't want to hurt them in that way, then they'll hide it, and that's the whole point. So they're doing it to meet their needs because their partner can't meet their needs, but they don't want to upset them emotionally by telling them, "Oh, look, I need some sexual
I reject that. I reject
stimulation."
that. I reject that hypothetical situation. When it comes to women, they've got a multi-billion-dollar industry for sex toys, and if it comes to men, we don't have a multi-billion-dollar industry because we don't need one. Because the last time I checked, Vaseline was relatively cheap. So, duh. You understand? Yeah. Okay. Nobody needs
Oh
to go out
dear.
and to be naughty like that outside. I think openness really works. Most people are decent people. You just say, my dear, frankly, you can't do what I want you to do. You agree. You, I'm just going to step out for a moment. Did you catch my drift? I understand. It hurt me, but there's not much
Okay,
I can do
so
about
okay,
it.
these companies like Ashley Madison and Co. and the ilk, are they abusing their positions? Are they actually encouraging extramarital affairs by being there? Because I
No,
haven't,
I
be
think
honest,
society.
I haven't seen any adverts for it, even though their
Oh,
catchphrase is whatever.
hmm.
Maybe they have got adverts out there. I don't know. I've never seen one.
No, on the on the. It's funny you should say that. On the Wikipedia page, I just can I catch it in time? I know we're under time pressure. On
We
the
are.
Wikipedia page, they were caught being very naughty. I think they call it aggressive. No, gosh, where is it? They call it aggressive advertising, which is here we go. Here we go. Guerrilla marketing.
What does that
Ash,
mean?
Ashley Madison used unconventional and controversial marketing strategies, including creating fake websites to criticize itself, and then use provocative advertisements that were often banned from mainstream media. So they'll criticize themselves on a fake website. You go, Ashley Madison, what's all this about? And you guys are, oh, do you know what? Oh, we'll never. It's like the days of the speakeasy in Chicago, wasn't it? We're
Mm,
not going to let anybody drink in our speakeasy. Why? What goes on in your speakeasy? Ah,
yeah,
well, no, you don't want to
exactly.
find out tonight at 8 o'clock.
I mean,
Uh,
I want you to quickly sum up because we've got top of the hour. What makes a healthy marriage then? To not allow any of this to even be available.
open communication, communication. Just guys, isn't maybe I'm lucky. Maybe I suppose I'm lucky, and thank God I'm lucky. Thank you God for everything. Maybe it comes down to just talk to the other person honestly. That's it. Both parties, be honest. What's going on? And be friends.
Mm.
Yeah, be friends.
I mean, people do grow apart. Of course they do, for various
They stop
reasons.
talking.
Stop talking, their busy lives, they lead separate lives almost, and then that facilitates this
Mm.
because they don't get happy with the partner they're with and instead think the grass is greener elsewhere, which it may not necessarily
Yeah.
be so. But hey, but whether sites like Ashley Madison should the government ban it?
There's no
I'm
point now. There's no
well,
point. The society itself is broken. Ashley Madison is not causing the break. It is taking, or the fissure, if you like, it is taking advantage of it.
yes,
So that's the
it's
difference. It's taking
capitalizing on
advantage of
it.
what is there. It's capitalizing on
Yeah,
it. It's not
indeed.
causing anything.
No. Okay, unfortunately, we have got to the end of the show. So, but if you've loved this episode, hit subscribe and stay tuned for more deep dives into prophecies, mysteries, and the unexpected twists of fate. You've listened to Tony and Tyre, and we are the TNT Talk Show. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the show for another week.